Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Down with Doug. Another day in Doug's messy garage. Today we're doing a transmission drain and fill on my 2005 Lexus LS430. And before I get questioned about it, you do not need to take the wheels off. I'm just going to do a tire rotation while I'm at it because you have to have the car jacked up and level to do this accurately. I already jacked the car up. I have it safely supported on all four jack stands and it is level. What you will need to do this job is around 4 quarts of Toyota ATF, the WS variety. Make sure that's what you're using. Some people would choose to use other WS formulations, but for what I paid, there's no better value than what Toyota recommends. You'll need a 24 millimeter wrench to get the fill bolt off. If you have a shallow ratchet or socket, you might be able to do it. I couldn't. You need what I believe is a 14 millimeter for the drain plug, a 5 millimeter hex for the check port, and various ratchets. You'll also need new drain fill plug. The fill plug has a little rubber gasket on it, and the drain and stand pipe check valve have little crush washers. I just have some various other parts that I got. And there's also under the car, you'll see a little shield that blocks off the fill port. I'd already checked this out. Mine was missing one of the bolts, so I went ahead and bought 2 new bolts just to fix that up the way that it should be. I'm going to go ahead and get under the car and we'll come back and show you the process. Alright, now that we're under the car, here's a look at the transmission pan. I had already treated some of these bolts with PV Blaster. I just did this job on my 4Runner and they didn't want to come loose. So here's our drain bolt. It's a 14 millimeter. Here's our check valve standpipe bolt. That's the 5 millimeter hex. And as we come around to the driver's side of the transmission, right here you can see the little access panel that needs to come off. That bolt that's right there in the middle needs to come off, and then there is a second one that's actually missing on mine that comes up right, can't really show it, but I'll put an arrow in the video to point it out once I get it off. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those and I'll be back. There's a picture, wow, a picture. There's the panel that I took off that's blocking access to the fill bolt. It sits right up in there. You can see it right at the corner of my light. It's a 24 millimeter. This is where you need a wrench because a socket really can't get up in there. Maybe if you have a shallow one. I don't, so I ended up just buying a wrench to do this. Just inspecting some things while I'm at it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that off. You always want to make sure your fill bolt comes loose before doing anything else. Okay, everybody, it has been 24 hours since I started this video. Nothing that I had could get the drain or the fill plug bolt loose, so I ended up going to 3 local stores and nobody had anything available, so I went on the Amazon and bought this Capri Tools 24 millimeter low profile socket, and with a fairly low profile ratchet I was able to get this in here and get the fill bolt loose. Now, my fill bolt is quite mangled up, so I actually went to Toyota yesterday before they closed and had them order a new one for me. It will be here tomorrow, which is Monday, or Tuesday at the latest. So just a little update. I'm going to go ahead and try to get the rest of these bolts off, because in the meantime, until I got that fill bolt figured out, I was not touching the drain. The drain plug should be a 14 millimeter. Ah, that popped loose piece of cake. Not necessary, but to make this easier in measuring, it's nice to have a clear catch bin, just to give you a better idea how much fluid you actually get out of the vehicle. $50,000 miles on that fluid. It's seen better days. Only the slightest tinge of red left in it. Now, doing a drain and fill is only going to really swap out maybe a third of the system's overall fluid. I believe from the factory they call for this to be done at 60,000 miles. Going forward, I'm probably going to do this every 30 just to get some cleaner fluid in it. I'm the third owner of this vehicle. The guy I bought it from kept pretty good service records on it. It was it was done for the second time at 90,000 miles, and it's at 142,000 miles now. So I'm going to let this drain. I'm going to see what we get out of it. Then I'm going to loosen the check port standpipe. Shouldn't really get any fluid out of that once the pan's empty. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you the refill process. Here's for reference, I got just over 2.5 quarts out of the transmission. I'm going to put in a full 3 quarts and see where we're at. I have a little fluid transfer pump, which is a terrible way to do this, but it is the cheapest way to do it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop that up in to the fill port there and pump away. If you really want to see how to do this, watch my 4Runner video, because I'm going to be pumping fluid for the next 10 minutes. Another way that might be a possibility is if you look up there, you can see a little bit of daylight. I've seen people run hoses down and tuck into the fill port, which would be a fabulous idea, but I don't have a hose long enough at the moment. I could run to the auto parts store and get one, but by the time I'd finish that, I'd be done pumping the fluid in. So once I get the fluid in, I'll be back and we'll show you the check process. Just a little update. I was able to run a hose down through the engine bay. I had a piece that was unused that was just long enough, and thanks to my wife, who's dumping said fluid, this is a lot easier. Okay everybody, we're back. Sorry about the background noise. I have the car running. You need the engine and transmission fluid hot to properly check the level. I actually have a scan tool to use paired with my phone, but for some reason it is not registering half the PIDs that you can measure with it, and I didn't have the patience to tinker around with it. Another thing you can use is a handy dandy infrared temp gun. Just going to check various parts of the transmission to see where we're at. That's 113. The bottom of the pan is 100. The back is 100. The other side is 100 as well. For this vehicle, you want the fluid between 115 and 130 degrees to do the temp check. So I'm going to let this run a couple more minutes just till I get averages that are in that range. One of the things you should do while this is happening, cycle the transmission through reverse, neutral, drive, back and forth a little bit, just to open up all the different valves in the transmission to help cycle the fluid around. So there we're at 116, 118. In the back we're at 108. I'm going to let this go just for another minute and then we'll check it. I went and grabbed one of my work lights to hopefully make this easier. So what we're doing is removing the check port This is the 5mm hex. I already cracked it loose earlier. And ideally, there should be a rush of fluid coming out because I overfilled this transmission from what I drained out of it. And what we're looking for is just a slow trickle. I have about a half to 3/4 of a quart more in it than I drained out of it. And you need to do this while the vehicle is running because with heat, transmission fluid expands. Make sure you replace your crush washers while you're at it. Almost there. I'm not a certified Toyota or Lexus mechanic, so take that with a grain of salt, but we're almost to where we want it. Couple drips here and there, I'm going to plug it up. New crush washer installed. I'd already torqued down the drain bolt. Truthfully, I am not torquing the fill bolt right now because I'm going to replace it. Oh, took the camera out. I have a new fill bolt on order just because that one was pretty mangled up. The drain and check bolt torque are 15 foot-pounds. Alright, we're now out from under the car. I got everything buttoned back up. I will link this below, but as I said earlier, this is an absolute must for this job. 24mm 6-point shallow socket. I picked it up off Amazon. It is a Capri tool model. $6. Definitely well worth it. I'll link all the parts that I use below, as well as other parts that I use in my garage. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. I will list the part numbers, the torque specs, the tools that I used. And if this was helpful to you, please like the video and consider subscribing. I do a lot of my own mechanical stuff between my Lexus, my Porsche 944, and my Toyota 4Runner out in the garage. So just trying to get things done the right way on a budget. I always do my own work because at least then you know that it was done right. So many dealerships overcharge and cut corners, and this is just my little peace of mind, and I enjoy being in the garage. So if you like the video, again, please like and subscribe and look out for the next one. Thank you.